All right, so picture this. You just ran your very first Terraform apply. You see that big wall of green text, it says apply complete, and then you're just kind of sitting there thinking, okay, great, so what did I actually make? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to demystify Terraform Outputs, which is the super simple feature that gives you the answers you need right when you need them. I mean, this is the big question, right? It's what every single person asks when they're starting out with Terraform. You've written the code, you've run the command, but what you get back isn't always obvious. So how do you find those specific, really important pieces of information you actually need, like an IP address or server's name, without having to dig through pages and pages of logs? Well, thankfully, the answer is a simple and, honestly, a really powerful feature that's built right into Terraform, and that's outputs. They're designed specifically to cut through all that complexity and just give you a focused summary of the exact details you care about. Now, to really get what outputs are all about, I want you to think of them like a receipt. Seriously, it is the perfect way to understand what you just built and why this is so incredibly useful. I mean, just think about it, right? When you buy something at a store, you get a receipt. That receipt doesn't list every single step the cashier took or every button they pressed. No way. It just confirms what you bought and gives you the key details. Well, a Terraform run is pretty much the same deal. After it's done building your infrastructure, Terraform hands you a clean, simple output. It's your digital receipt. So the really crucial thing to get here is this. An output is a value that you decide you want to see ahead of time. You're the one telling Terraform, hey, after you're done building that server, could you please just show me its IP address? And then, bam, it presents that specific, helpful detail to you right at the end. It's basically information on demand. Okay, so we know what they are, but why do they matter so much? Why should you bother taking that extra minute to define them in your code? Well, it turns out they are so much more than just a convenient little list. Your Terraform receipt really does two huge things for you. First, it's your confirmation. Seeing that IP address pop up at the end is your proof that the virtual machine was actually created successfully. And second, it's all about sharing data. And this part is absolutely crucial. Outputs are the main way you grab a value from one part of your infrastructure so you can use it somewhere else. They're kind of like the glue that connects all your resources, letting you, for example, feed a server's brand new IP address directly into your monitoring tool. Now, something that often trips up beginners is the difference between outputs and the logs. You know, that giant wall of text you see during the apply. So let's clear that up right now because it's all about finding the signal in all that noise. And this right here illustrates the difference perfectly. The logs, well, that's the noise. It's the automatic step-by-step diary of every single thing Terraform did. It's useful for debugging for sure, but man, it is overwhelming. Outputs, on the other hand, are the signal. They're intentional. You explicitly tell Terraform what to show you so you only get the important values you actually need. Think of it like this. It's the difference between getting the full, uncut factory assembly video versus just getting the final product spec sheet. So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's go over a few simple, super practical uses you're going to run into from day one. These are the classics, right? You just spun up a new web server. Of course, you need its public IP address to go check out the website. Or you created a new storage bucket, and you want to confirm the unique final name that it was given. Or maybe you launched a database, and you need that connection address so you can configure your application. Outputs are tailor-made for these exact kinds of tasks. And this is what you get in the end, something clean, simple, and totally ready to use. There's no fluff, no noise. It's just the exact piece of information you asked for. And that right there is the power of a good output. All right, for our final and maybe our most important point, especially if you're new to all this. A common fear is, okay, if I'm looking at this data, can I accidentally change something or break something? Let's just put that fear to rest right now. This is a core principle you just have to understand. Terraform outputs are strictly read-only. That's it. Looking at an output is a completely passive action. You are just looking at the receipt. You cannot change, delete, or modify anything. Not one part of your infrastructure by looking at its outputs. It is 100% safe. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? At their heart, outputs are a tool for clarity. They take the abstract idea of your code and turn it into the concrete reality of your infrastructure. So the next time you run Terraform apply, just remember,
The real magic isn't just in what you build, but in how clearly you can see it afterward.